welcome to the Movies Past and Present podcast. It's December 6th, 2018, and this is episode 5. I'm your host, Stanford Clark, and I'm podcasting from the crossroads of the West in beautiful Salt Lake City, Utah. Just like my blog, moviespastandpresent.com, I'll be providing reviews and commentary about current and classic cinema. Thanks for tuning in, and let's get started. New in theaters this week are two films. First up is the historical drama Mary, Queen of Scots. This is from Focus Features, and it's another retelling of the story of Mary Stuart and Queen Elizabeth. This particular film is based on recently published history. It was published in 2004. I'll have a link to this book in my blog podcast post. But this book is called Queen of Scots, The True Life of Mary Stuart, and it's written by John Guy, who's a British historian and a fellow at Cambridge University. And this, so set in England and Scotland, as you know, in the 1500s, there was a lot of drama between Mary Stuart, who was the Queen of Scotland, and Queen Elizabeth, Queen of England. And so they were rivals in power and in love. And this movie is clearly going to be focusing on them being, these female rulers in a masculine world. And the two of them have to decide how to play the game of marriage versus independence. And looks like the focus is on how they're ruling and their relationship with each other, and then of course all the drama, betrayal, conspiracies, rebellion, etc. that go on in their respective courts. So it looks like a very interesting retelling. If you've seen the preview, and Margot Robbie plays Queen Elizabeth in a rather unglamorous kind of role, and we know Margot Robbie's a great actor. I don't know if you've seen I, Tonya, but we're seeing almost just for her performance because it's pretty remarkable. And then Saoirse Ronan is playing Mary, Queen of Scots, in the title role, and we know what a good actress she is. And so this looks like a very interesting historical drama, and could definitely be worth checking out. We'll see what specific episodes they decide to cover in this film, but I think we all know how it ends. Spoiler alert. Mary gets beheaded eventually, but we'll see if that's part of the film, or again something we all just know that's just going to happen later on. This film was rated R by the Motion Picture Association of America for some violence and sexuality. Next up is Ben is Back. This is from Roadside Attractions. This film was written and directed by Peter Hedges, who also happens to be the father of the film's star, Lucas Hedges. So Lucas Hedges plays a 19-year-old named Ben, and Ben is sadly addicted to drugs, and he unexpectedly returns home to see his family on it's the morning of Christmas Eve. So this film covers a 24-hour period. Ben's mother is played by Julia Roberts, and she is relieved that her son is home, but wary of his return because he looks like he's left his rehab. And over a turbulent 24 hours, new truths are revealed, and a mother's undying love for her son is tested as she does everything in her power to keep him safe. This looks like a really heavy movie, pretty serious, or a pretty gritty and realistic portrayal of the difficulties of drug addiction and the impact it has on family relationships. It also looks like a really great acting showcase for both Lucas Hedges and Julia Roberts. So I think could be worth checking out for a pretty heavy family drama. But Ben is Back is rated R by the Motion Picture Association of America for language throughout and some drug use. So there we have it. Mary Queen of Scots, and Ben is back for new releases this week. For reviews this month, I want to cover some of my favorite Christmas movies each week. So I'm just going to briefly talk about one film a week, and hopefully it's something that if you haven't seen that you might consider seeing for a family movie night this month. So first up is Scrooge. This is a 1970 film. There's all sorts of different titles. As you can imagine, this one is based on A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. This particular one, so is made in 1970, and it stars Albert Finney as Ebenezer Scrooge. This one is a musical, and it's got really fantastic music written by the great Leslie Bricusse, and It's got a very interesting cast. As I mentioned, Albert Finney stars as Ebenezer Scrooge. And Albert Finney was pretty young, when this film was made. And so they put a lot of makeup on him. And I think they do a nice job making him up as the old and grumpy Ebenezer Scrooge. Alec Guinness plays Jacob Marley. And he's terrifying. I think he's very good. He's very good in the role. And they've got some great makeup, and I think some cool special effects associated with him. Edith Evans plays the ghost of Christmas Past. Kenneth Moore plays the ghost of Christmas Present. David Collins is Bob Cratchit. And Suzanne Neve plays Isabel, Scrooge's long-lost love. As I mentioned, the songs in this film, I think, are really set it apart. They're very good. And I think the film also has the right balance of charm and of heartache and of fright. I tell you, when Scrooge descends into hell near the end of the film, it's really something in this picture, and it's scared me to death as a kid. And it's still, I think, scary as an adult too. That scene alone will make you want to live a better life. But again, it's. I think this is just a really fun retelling of this oft-retold Christmas Carol story. Pretty authentic to the narrative of the book, and just great performances. And I just think it would be a really fun addition to your family's Christmas movie rotation. So this film is available. You can rent it on Amazon. I'll have a link to it on my blog post for the podcast. And as well as for purchase, and you just need to make sure it's the 1970 version with Albert Finney. For Classic Cinema Corner, we've got a few things to address. First up is that the drama Schindler's List is returning to theaters for a limited run starting on December 7th. So this isn't a Fathom event or something else. It's actually going to be just having this limited run for the next, I would assume, next couple of weeks or maybe a little longer. Just in returning to theaters. Again, I'll have a link to this on my blog post. And this film is commemorating its 25th anniversary. It's made in 1993 and directed by Steven Spielberg and based on the novel Schindler's Ark by the Australian novelist Thomas Keneally. And as you know, this film is a true story about a German businessman named Oskar Schindler who bravely saved the lives of more than 1,000 Polish Jewish refugees from the Holocaust by employing them in his factories during World War II. This is an unflinching film about the Holocaust and shot in black and white. It feels like a documentary. It's absolutely horrifying, and absolutely mandatory viewing if you've never seen this film. I think everybody needs to see this film once in their life and hopefully never forget it. Steven Spielberg did a recent interview with NBC News to talk about this 25th anniversary release, and I've put a link to that into my blog as well. It's definitely worth seeing. Interesting to hear about the making of the film, kind of the genesis and how it took a while for Spielberg to feel like he was ready to take it on. The emotional toll that it took on him and his family to make it, but still such an important film, and the good that it's done in the world, and to help bring these horrific stories to life about what really happened with the Holocaust. So, of course it's heavy, but it happened, and there's no time like the present to readdress this and again to never forget. So that Schindler's List is playing in theaters now, and check your local theaters for time and for current listings. All right, now for something completely different in the classic cinema world. Irving Berlin's White Christmas is part of Turner Classic Movies' Big Screen Classic screening series, and that's screening on Sunday, December 9th and Wednesday, December 12th. This one is a Fathom event, so it's only going to be playing a couple of times on those days. But holy smokes, if you've never seen White Christmas on the big screen, you've got to. That is just the most fun movie. Such a delight. Incredible songs, incredible cast with Bing Crosby, Danny Kaye, Vera Ellen, Rosemary Clooney. It's so good and such a delight. So go to fathomevents.com/TCM, and that will give you where Irving Berlin's White Christmas is playing at a theater near you. That one's definitely not to be missed. Speaking of TCM Big Screen Classics, they've also announced their lineup for 2019. Typically, TCM shows a classic film on the big screens about once a month. This year, they've got 14 films they've announced. Not all of them have dates. So you'll need to go to fathomevents.com/TCM again to get the final schedule. But let me give you the rundown of these films that have been announced for 2019 because they're great. So first up is The Wizard of Oz, as in, the classic with Judy Garland and everybody. It is celebrating its 80th anniversary, and that's pretty remarkable. So The Wizard of Oz, we've got My Fair Lady with Audrey Hepburn, and this was a recently restored for its 50th anniversary, although it's not commemorating its 50th anniversary here or an anniversary per se here. But I'm so excited to see this one on the big screen because it's favorite. To Kill a Mockingbird with Gregory Peck, again based on the beloved novel, and this is just such an outstanding film. Ben-Hur with Charlton Heston. So we get to see the epic chariot race on the big screen. This one's celebrating its 60th anniversary. True Grit with John Wayne, which is celebrating its 50th anniversary. And I hear from the folks at TCM that this is actually the first actual Western that they've put into the rotation here for their Big Screen Classic series. So that'll be fun. Steel Magnolias, the chick flick with Sally Field, Dolly Parton, Shirley MacLaine, Daryl Hannah, Olympia Dukakis, and Julia Roberts. That's celebrating its 30th anniversary. The ultimate chick flick, Anyway, we'll just let that one be. It's a fun film. I finally saw it. It took me years, but I finally saw it. Field of Dreams, which starring Kevin Costner, also celebrating its 30th anniversary. Now that one I've seen, and I just love this film. Glory the Civil War drama with Matthew Broderick and Denzel Washington and Morgan Freeman. That's coming. The 50th anniversary of Hello Dolly with Barbra Streisand and Walter Matthau, directed by Gene Kelly. So that actually might be fun to see on the big screen. I'm so excited for this one, Lawrence of Arabia. To see a wonderful digital print on the big screen of that, I'm really excited about. The Shawshank Redemption is celebrating its 25th anniversary. Then Alien, the Ridley Scott horror film, the original, is celebrating its 40th anniversary, so that one's going to be on. And then When Harry Met Sally, which is celebrating its 30th anniversary. So all these anniversaries. Also, they don't have a date for it, but Godfather Part 2 is supposed to show up in the lineup somewhere as well. So that'll be cool to see it on the big screen. So you can tell I get a little excited. But I love these TCM big screen classics because, again, you can for an opportunity to be able to see a beautiful print of these films on the big screen the way they were meant to be seen is a real delight for this film fan. So there you have it, as far as Classic Cinema Corner for this week. Well, thanks so much for tuning in. I hope everyone's having a happy holiday season thus far and that it continues, and look forward to chatting with you next week. Thanks.